Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Exploiting our radio visitor pass to the fullest extent. It's the audience of one show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you tend to get your podcast from. On today's show, we discuss winning the lotto, kinda, illegal art, and playing with your offhand. I am Andrew, maestro of the run sheet, next to the guy who believes that more diseases need to be visual. It's Dick. Release all the pipes, Schisler.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Releasing all the pipes.
It's true.
Sometimes
true
it has to be done.
It has to be done.
Sometimes it has to be done. Hey, man, we are up to over 3% chance now of the asteroid hitting Earth. Have you heard the latest?
No, I don't really care.
That's a 1 in 32 chance. Are you now starting to be just a little concerned?
Yeah, but I think they already said it's as big as a house.
It is. That is. And if
so it's not going to cause the ice age.
You don't know that. It could.
It could.
Yeah. Well, they said it is city destroying, whatever that means. I guess a city can range in various sizes, but if it hits, it can destroy
the entire city. Let me ask you this then. Say the asteroid is coming.
It is, yes.
Right? And it's going to hit. And then magically the government's like, oh, we destroyed it.
We need Bruce Willis.
Well, not even that, because, those movies are always fun, but in my mind, like the government's already working on a solution, and no one really knows. It might be like 3 dudes and a girl in a room, and just like, we got to think about this.
Do you think they'll fire a missile at it or something?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Say like they make an announcement, hey, it's coming, and then like two days later, oh, it's gone.
Well, I think they will make a huge announcement if it's gone like that, because they want to pat themselves on the back, like, look what we did.
But they're not going to.
Your tax dollars at work.
What happens if it's like a laser that you like one day you're like you're sitting outside and all of a sudden you see this beam just shoot up into the sky?
I'd be happy.
I'd be like, oh, we have something like that? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, but it does make you wonder, though, how close to Earth it has to get before they can fire off a shot. And if they miss, do they have time to reload? Or are they like Lee Harvey? They can get 3 shots off pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that'd be great.
And it's going to be live streamed. Now we go to you live from the scene here as the United States government.
Has Elon somewhere in the background with a chainsaw, and it's like, yeah, dude.
I was going to eliminate this from the government, but lasers are cool.
I didn't want to tell anybody this, but we've had this technology for 50 years.
Yeah, man, 1 in 32% chance. I'm telling you, it just keeps getting higher and higher.
Yeah, still don't really care about it. I think as long as they don't tell where it's projected to land.
Not yet. Well, because the Earth's rotating, man. It's always moving.
Yeah, but these are math nerds. They love that kind of challenge.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So you would care if it was going to land in the Conroe area, I bet. Yeah, you would.
Yeah, but then again, they might not release the information because it would cause panic.
Not if they got to get people out.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that until the last possible moment.
When you can actually see it coming.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we didn't carry the one. Now it's moved. It's not China. It's us. Then we hate China even more. But yeah. Did you have a good weekend, dude? It was kind of one of those weird weekends where it rained kind of all weekend, off and on.
So this cold weather's got me. It's got me thinking, and I want you to hear me out for a second. I am proposing that we move Christmas to at least January, maybe even February. Because for me, cold weather is part of Christmas, right? It gets me into that Christmas feeling. And here in the South, sometimes in December, because I think Christmas is only, 2-3 days into winter, just barely into winter. Sometimes it's warm. And I like cold weather associated with Christmas. But now there's cold weather and it's February. Christmas is long gone. I have no time. I got no tolerance for cold weather now. But I can tolerate it if it's in Christmas time. So I'm proposing that we move Christmas to early February.
You can do that, right?
And on top of it, it puts some shine back on Thanksgiving.
You can do that, right?
It gets its own time. What do you mean?
You don't need the world to tell you when Christmas is.
I can celebrate my own Christmas?
Yeah. I mean, I no. The reason I say that is I was helping my mom out with something. I found a box. I was like, this box I feel like has been here for like 2 months. She's like, oh, that's your brother's Christmas gifts for the family.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh.
At a certain point, you just take it.
Well, I know, but it's like...
Or just hold on to it for next year.
Can you imagine my nieces and nephews? It's like, oh, hey, Dad, what's in the box? Like, oh, it's stuff from your grandma, and it's supposed to be Christmas, but it's March. So here's the same as a cool present during the year.
Yeah, but see, part of the Christmas spirit is everyone else celebrating it too, right? Because you go to the store and you feel if I'm doing my own personal Christmas when there's Valentine's Day cards out, it doesn't seem the same.
Well, what you should do is just every gift you give throughout the year is wrapped in Christmas wrapping, and then deal with it. I guess I should start doing that. That'd be my first phase 1 of gift giving. Is I give it in a Christmas theme, and so I'm like, what's the deal with this? Like, oh, just consider it a Christmas gift to you from me this year.
You never know when Christmas is going to be this year.
I don't.
Surprise! I'm full of surprises.
I personally don't observe Christmas during December 25th.
Right.
To me, every day is Christmas. So, but yeah, it was one of those weird weekends, and I guess it's kind of true. I don't know. Who it has to be cold. What happens if you were born in like a warm climate, like us?
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Like you say, you grew up, you never even seen snow. So
when I was growing up down in the Rio Grande Valley, yes, it was almost always warm on Christmas. Yes, but that's just you can't help. If you live in a tropical place, it's always going to be warm. But here we do get kind of cold. It's just typically after the Christmas time. It's usually this time of year.
It's really annoying, actually, to me.
Again, because I have no tolerance.
Because I literally just uncovered all of our bushes.
Oh, I know, and you got to cover them back.
And then they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, it's going to hit 20 degrees, but it's going to be in the 50s." During the day, and you're like,
awesome. I'll fry those things under there.
Yeah, I was like, why would I even bother having bushes?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
You're all about the bush. I know that, and protecting the bush.
Well, we actually have one bush that's from my great grandfather's garden, and so it's like, but what's weird is where we planted it in the family house. It's just by itself in a random thing of dirt. There's no cohesive with the house. It's just this random bush.
Love a little bit random bush. Yeah.
But
I was looking at your jeans last week, and they were rather dirtied. You remember this?
Because I was moving plants.
Yes. And I think I discovered something interesting about blue jeans and maybe jean technology. Is it just me, or does a pair of jeans after about 2 or 3 days of just sitting there kind of get clean again on their own? Now there is a point of no return. Like if they got mud on, the mud doesn't just go away. But sometimes I'll take off a pair of jeans, and your shirt will have that day.
I'm ironically wearing the same pair of jeans.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But
like a shirt got a little bit of funk. But if you leave a pair of jeans out for a couple of days and you go back to it, it smells like it hadn't been worn.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's the miracle of jeans.
I think it all depends on your lifestyle and your eating habits, and
what you've spilled on it. I don't know, it just kind of reverts back to clean somehow. I don't know who invented these things.
Maybe your wife is washing your jeans.
No, I do my own laundry. Thank you very much. I'm progressive like that.
Would that be a strange long con? It's like you know your significant other hates how you just leave your clothes everywhere, so she'll take your clothes, wash them, and then put them back exactly how you left them. Like on the floor or something. And it's like, how are these always magically clean?
No, that is not a scenario I've encountered, actually, Dick.
Oh.
But I do think if you live with someone who's going to do your laundry, I don't think they're going to put it back on the floor. If they're going to take the time to do your laundry,
it would be funny.
They're going to fold and put it back. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
it would be.
The folding laundry is always a nice character study. How people do their laundry.
Yeah.
And
speaking of laundry, I went through my sock drawer here recently. Yes, this is sock drawer talk, everyone.
Okay.
Super exciting. And I was throwing out some old ones. I realized I had a bunch of socks in there, and some of them were in not so good a condition. Some were okay. And what I also found near the back was some socks that had never been worn.
Interesting. Yeah, how big is this drawer?
It's like Narnia, man.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell are we talking about?
And it was crazy. Well, because I kind of had been using the same 10, 12 of them that were right there in the front of the drawer and just not going to the back, and I'd wash them and put them right back in the same spot. So consequently, over time, it's like I got some brand new socks back there, man. I felt so good because there's nothing better than a fresh new pair of socks.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, what I love is since, I guess, past 16, for Christmas, I stopped, getting Christmas gifts in a sense. And my mother would always just give us things of socks.
I think that's a great idea.
But it's like,
because I'm not going to buy them on my own.
But they're
anyways.
fun socks, right? They're like polka dots, or they have hot sauces on it. But there's always they always come in threes. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine how many pairs of socks I have now. That being 38. for every year I get a thing of happy socks.
Great.
Or whatever. And I have so many wacky socks. It's getting to the point where
Quite a flex you have there.
well, it's something I don't
You
want
can
to get rid
imagine
of.
how many socks I have.
Well, I don't
ladies.
want to get rid of them.
No, you
But
can donate them.
I'm already
to the needy.
getting. No, I like them. Like I
You
like.
can only wear 2 at a time.
I know, but I like the fun. I love fun socks. So it's like, oh,
Okay.
this one has Waffle House on it. This is great.
I did see your Waffle House socks.
I love
a
my
couple weeks
Waffle
ago.
House socks. I did want to show you. I'll show you next time I wear them. That on the heel, it has 2 waffles, and like the heel, they did the. You know, some certain socks have patterns for the heel and the toe.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Well, it's black, but if you stretch where the waffle and the black hit, it looks like a butt.
Nice.
So I was looking at that. I was like, that looks kind of like a butt.
By design, or
I wonder.
you just found this wonderful,
I wonder. I was like, I wonder if they did this on
wonderful
purpose.
gimmick about your new pair of
But
socks.
but yeah.
So,
But
Dick, I got to ask you a question. Do you consider yourself a people watcher? Do you like to, when people say, oh, man, I just like watching people when I'm out at the mall or something like that?
it just depends. Like if I'm like, especially at the old studio, if I have nothing going on, and if someone walks by, I'll watch them. Because there's some interesting people, especially they don't know you're watching them. You can hear their conversations and stuff.
Now you're starting to get a little borderline creepy.
Because like out here at City Hall, first floor, is giant windows. And one of the most amazing thing about people watching down here is for some reason people walk to this building, but never like looking for this building. They're looking for another building.
Right.
So I have firsthand experience of all these people walking in. They either are in a hurry and they're like looking at papers and they don't understand how. Really, what I learned is no one really looks at Google Maps and no one looks up where they're going. Because if people don't know, if listeners don't know, we're located at the county seat. So the county courthouse is here.
Yes.
And all the courthouses.
We're
are
soups
here.
of fish.
So there's so many buildings and none of them are labeled, which I love. There's only one building that actually legit looks like a courthouse. Everything else looks like office buildings.
Right.
And so people watching down here, like this morning, I saw this really nice lady park really crazy in a hurry, gets her kid out of the car, and has like one of the carry things.
Grabs her by the scruff.
No, she was
Baby carriage,
rushing down. And then
Are you going to tell me she dropped
5 minutes
the kid?
later, rushing back this way.
Oh, she went the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I was like, I feel sorry for that lady. She's got this baby.
I heard someone say the other day that they're a people watcher, they like watching people, and I think it depends on the situation, because if you go to the mall specifically just to look at people, you're kind of weird, right? That's an activity. That's kind of voyeuristic, stalker-like.
Yeah.
But if you're there with your significant other or wife and she's shopping and you ain't got nothing else to do and you're noticing the oddities going along, that's perfectly fine, right? So I think there's a thin line there, because I do kind of like to look at people too sometimes. See what the crazy stuff they're up to.
Well, some of the certain circumstances, like at a restaurant, that's creepy.
Yeah, you're right.
But
You're
like,
right. You know when you're staring at somebody.
because a lot of times, like if I'm ever at a mall,
what are you eating there?
if I'm ever at a mall, I guarantee you I'm there because I'm waiting on somebody. Like, because they wanted to go do this. I'm like, because I would
Right.
never like willingly.
And that's
go
an
to the mall.
opportunity to start people watching.
Yes.
But if I said, "Hey man, what are you doing this later this afternoon?" You said, "Heading up to the mall." What are you gonna get? You got to shop? I just want to look at some people. That's weird.
I was people watching in here.
I'm sorry. Is that he's showing those
This
you just
is-
listening.
you know
He's
where
showing me a
this
picture
is?
of his phone. Directly across the street from where we are recording is the Moreland Professional Building. What the heck is that? Is that someone dressed in
I don't really know,
costume of some sort? Looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Just walking down the sidewalk in a looks like a orange.
Yeah, and what's creepy is it looks like a Big Bird costume.
Yeah, Big Bird, but
like
orange.
Huge. So I was sitting out here, and I was like, is that just a guy walking in a Big Bird costume? And he was just waving at people. Like I got that picture because he was waving at the
Perfectly
person
normal,
in the car.
perfectly healthy behavior.
Yes.
In my mind, that is odd, man.
Yeah, I was sitting there going like, oh, this is kind of fun. And there wasn't a festival going on downtown. There wasn't anything that I looked around and go, what the hell is going on right now?
Just makes him feel comfortable.
So
Don't.
that's a new definition
discriminate,
of furry.
man.
That's a birdie.
I can't tell if it has.
It's a bird. It's
Is
like
it?
a big bird, but it's orange.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he waved at me. And I
Now
was like,
imagine if he was a police officer and you got arrested by that. It would be really demoralizing.
really funny.
I'm telling you, our cops need to
and
dress up
especially
like
if the
that.
cuffs were like, have feathers on them and stuff like that.
Right.
And like he pulls that out. But but yeah, it was cold. I made pot pies this weekend. I made a.
By the way, the over and under is 3.5 for this episode.
What's that mean?
3.5. It's the over and under. for
Popeyes?
for the number of mentions of brisket and or sausage for you. Just so
I
you
didn't
know.
mention any of
I
that.
know, but
I
I'm saying the
mentioned
over.
Popeye.
I know, but the over and under is 3.5.
You know, but I love those. You have a discussion with your buddy, and you're like, "Hey, let's do this." Like, cool. So I bring my stuff over to make pot pies, little muffin ones, like individual ones.
Right.
I go, what are you doing? Like, you don't want me to pick you up anything? He's like, no, I already started mine. And I was like, started yours? What do you mean? And he had to show off. He was already making pot pies.
That's an odd flex, I'm going to admit.
That were from scratch. And I was like, no, I didn't. I was too hungover to go do any of that stuff. So I just
Stofers, dog, Stofers.
yeah. And it was interesting.
I don't know that I've heard of anybody making homemade pot pies as like their thing. Hey, bro, you want to come over tonight and make some pot pies?
Well, I wanted pot pies because I knew it was gonna be rainy.
You can wear that
cold.
bird costume too, bro.
So pot pies are delicious.
I rather enjoy them as well. When I was in
His was so good too.
Minnesota last year, apparently that's a big thing up there. Homemade pot pies and the flaky crust on top was to die for.
But yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, all right, man, you about ready to kick off this show, buddy?
Yeah.
Gotta think about it. Yeah. Play the show.
No, I'm not gonna do it this time. I don't do what I'm told. That's
He's gonna randomly fire it off right in the middle of one of my stories.
It's like when you know.
I got a wild hair at my.
I'm not
my
trainable, dude.
I've noticed.
I'm already too old.
Yeah, can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, that's
well,
what
the
they
New York
say.
Yankees will finally be able to sport beards. The team announced on Friday. Were you aware that the New York Yankees did not allow their players to have facial hair?
Yeah. I thought they had to be clean cut. They can't even have long hair.
No. And it's kind of interesting because I knew that, but
So Brandon Marsh is out.
I just kind of forgot about it. Well, when they made this announcement, I said, oh, that's right. They don't allow their players to shave beards. Kind of cool. And not that I really care, but I do think it's kind of cool when one team adopts some sort of aesthetic like this and it becomes their thing. So I'm kind of a little disappointed. Not that I like the Yankees or anything, but I'm kind of disappointed that this rule is going away. And I think some of the players are actually disappointed as well because it set them apart from other teams.
Well, what I love about too is you're gonna have that one guy who's still gonna follow the rules.
And shave anyways? No,
Yeah,
bro.
he's gonna be clean cut, baby cut the whole time.
Yeah. Well, now you can finally be eligible for the Yankees stick.
Well, did you see the rules though?
Yeah, they have to be really trimmed and orderly. They can't be all like
me.
Yeah, no, yeah, they can't look like yours.
Yeah.
But there was a player in the 90s, early 2000s, I can't think of his name, who was known for having long hair and a beard, and he went to the Yankees and he had to shave it, and he just looked like, was it Giambi? Somebody like that. Completely unrecognizable after he got traded because at that time, again, the law was still in place.
Well, what's so
From
weird...
Steinbrenner, I think, actually made that.
Yeah. What's always amazing, too, to
George
see those
Steinbrenner.
guys... I think it was even kind of like a running joke is when they get traded away from the Yankees, how fast their beard grows.
Yeah, they've been shaving it for so long.
And it's just like all of a sudden, boom, next 2 weeks they have a full beard.
Hal Steinbrenner is now the general manager.
Yeah.
That would be his son of George Steinbrenner.
Okay. Cool.
Managing general partner.
I like it.
Just thought it was kind of interesting, man. Kind of interesting.
It reminds me, people don't really know, we're in the Houston area and
But broadcasting worldwide on the internet.
So the Astros are the local team here. And did you notice that they renamed the stadium?
Yeah, it is no longer Minute Maid Park.
But
Are they going back to Enron?
No, it's named after, I can't pronounce it. There's a local manufacturing plant that does AC units.
Well, look
but it's
it
from
up.
Japan. But
let's look it up,
what's
man.
funny to me is if you're a sponsor of a stadium and your AC sucks, what does that tell you about your product?
Are you saying their air conditioning isn't very good?
Yeah, there's certain game because you know how hot.
Oh, it's
Houston-
Daikin Park.
Yeah. But it's like
So to speak.
It's funny to me to think about going to the ballpark, have the window or have the roof closed, and it's just hot and musty in there because you know how the weather is in Houston. And they're like, oh
Yes.
yeah, we're sponsored by AC Unit.
Well, maybe this is their chance to get some
maybe.
nice
I
SEER,
don't
16 SEER units installed. Maybe a few window units out there might help.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Daikin. Had you never heard of Daikin before? Daikin, I think.
I don't keep up with that kind of stuff.
You're the one who brought it up.
Well, I just thought it was funny.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you've been there when they close it and they haven't have the AC on because they didn't realize they had to close it.
I have been there when it's closed and it opened, the exact opposite, which is interesting because all of a sudden you could feel the air just kind of flowing out of that place. And I guess it's the cool air is going out or the heat's coming in and pushing out. Wow. I don't know, physics and stuff. And, of course, papers and things will start flying up into the air.
That's
and
where
it takes like half hour
hit.
for it to fully open, maybe 20 minutes or something. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah, right then. That's where they're opening it up to catch it like you're catching a popcorn in your mouth. And,
yeah.
It says roots of the beardless policy date back to 1973. So this wasn't always with the Yankees. This is just something of more recent lure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can imagine because I remember there was a Houston team where they had a dress code where they couldn't wear whatever. They had to wear a certain type of suit.
Wow.
And maybe because it was their sponsor or something like that.
Oh, possibly.
But yeah, I know that's a big thing in certain sport teams. I guess Who cares?
Who cares? Well, you'll care about this from Paris. Paris. Have you ever been to Gay Paris before?
No.
I haven't either. I've heard it's wonderful. Thieves used a stolen card to buy a winning French lottery ticket worth $500,000. Actually, it says 500,000 euros, which translates to $523,000.
Okay, so what's the end result there? Do they lose all that money?
Well, that's the thing. This is kind of interesting. So somebody noticed, if I go through the story, his card or his backpack had gotten stolen from his car window, and then went to report all of his cards stolen, to cancel them and everything. They said, well, actually, this purchase has already been made, and it turns out that one of them was to a convenience store, and they had purchased a lotto ticket. I don't know how they know that it was a winning card, because they haven't cashed it in yet. And the person who had his card stolen is saying, hey, guys, hey, look, I know you stole my card, but I'm willing to make a little deal here with you. No charges filed at all, but I do want a little bit of that lotto money. Apparently it was two homeless guys came in. Came in, and they were acting very, very excited because they had – I guess that's how they knew. That's how they knew.
Because homeless people can't buy lottery
tickets?
They
came. No. They knew it was a winner because they came in, bought lotto tickets, scratched it off right there, and they were super excited. Whoa, we won, and then they left. So then when the man who owned the card, Gene David, discovered earlier this month that his backpack, like I said, had been stolen, blah, 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 I guess he contacted the store and let them know, hey, they purchased stuff at your store. He's like, actually, these guys did walk in, and they won the lottery. Well, they are still on the lam because they're afraid no matter even if this guy says – I'm not going to press any charges, the state's still going to press charges on them, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. Because in this case, everyone's a winner, right? Everybody's going to be a winner.
Well, the state's a winner, whoever hosts the lottery, because they know they won't lose that money.
Well, yeah, that's true. I'm kind of surprised this hasn't happened before. And I guess the thought is, well, it probably has, but not with such a large prize. Because if you win, $150, where you just cash it in right there at the store, but when it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, you have to go to the...
You have to go through the motions.
Yeah, you got to go to the office down. In our case, in Texas, it's in Austin.
They consider that a hand pay.
It says, at the shop, a vendor told him two apparently homeless men had used one of his cards to buy the winning scratch-off lottery ticket. They were so totally happy
That's a great plot to a movie.
They forgot their cigarettes and their belongings and walked out like crazy people, the shop owner said.
Yeah. That'd be a great movie.
It says prosecutors may try to seize the winnings, considering them illegally obtained gains. Come on, guys. Let these people share in the wealth. It's not that big of a deal.
I guess, whatever.
Over the last year and a half or so, if you had been drinking or dining out in the vicinity of Kitayushu, that's a city in Japan, Kitayushu, you may have had the seemingly good fortune of sharing the space with a very generous older gentleman, 71-year-old Kazunori Iganaki. On occasion, Iganaki would go out to expensive sushi restaurants or bars and announce to everyone that he was picking up the tab for every single customer in the place. And sometimes these things would amass like several $1,000 bills. And everybody would be, yeah, this guy's awesome. Well, with so much extra money, one might wonder what he's doing for a living. And he would claim that he was a strawberry farmer. So much so that he even had strawberry farmer on his license plate for his car. Well, strawberry farming is not really known for something that brings you... It's not very lucrative, Dick. Well, as it turns out, this old man was stealing money, robbing virtually everybody in the town blind for the past several years. He had broken into 63 homes, amassing nearly $9.3 million.
Wow.
Million yen, so several $1 million worth of stuff. And I guess his guilty conscience or his way to look like he was a good guy would go to the local sushi places and be like, hey, lunch is on me with their own money. What an a-hole, man. It says Iganaki primarily targeted homes in rural agricultural communities, breaking in during the day when the owners would be out tending to their fields and stealing cash and gift certificates. It says in Japan, gift certificates are available for especially wide ranges of retailers and products.
Well, it's kind of like that. You know that movie American Gangster?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And it had Denzel Washington's character would hand out turkeys to the community during Thanksgiving, and it's kind of like that a little bit.
I guess
it's like, hey, you're giving drugs to everybody, killing people. Well, thanks for the turkey, bro.
Yeah, no one will notice.
Yeah.
Right. When they asked him why he paid for the food, he said, "quote I paid for them because I wanted to look cool."
Yeah, I think
cool.
I think Denzel Washington's character wanted to look cool.
Oh, but of course. He was actually robbing everyone in the town to buy them lunch.
I think that's a very funny scenario where like your neighbor, this guy, this strawberry guy.
Strawberry guy, he's so nice, bro.
He's gonna pay for our tab.
He brought me a nice bottle of Chianti the other day,
But I totally
man.
forgot 5 years ago I got robbed.
Yeah. So weird that we're all getting our places ransacked every few days.
Yeah.
But at least this guy's nice enough to buy us lunch because we're down on our luck.
That's unfortunate. That's a funny story. I like it. Everyone in the community needs someone like that.
Last story here before the break. Do you remember several years back that the emergency notification that went out to residents in Hawaii?
Yeah, we actually finally figured all that out now. Yeah, I remember that.
That a ballistic missile threat was inbound to Hawaii. It says, seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I remember
everyone
it too.
knows that story.
That is so crazy. I'd forgotten about it. But apparently it was somebody just had pushed the, quote, wrong button. That's
apparently.
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 Can you imagine receiving a text? First of all, what do you do with that information?
It's probably the same group who's trying to spread the misinformation about an asteroid coming to Earth. I think that's the same group.
Conspiracy, you think?
Yeah, they want to be able to push that button again. They're like, oh, we're going to send this text out. Asteroid.
3% chance of asteroid hitting you this afternoon. Well, what I think is interesting, first of all, if you get that text, yeah, you're like, well, crap. What do you do with it? I mean,
well, what's
imminent? What do you go under your desk?
Well, what's weirded me out about
ballistic missile threat. I mean, what's your defense there?
Well, not even that. The word ballistic kind of would confuse the hell out of me.
It is a kind of a childish term.
Because to me, it's like, does that mean it's big enough to kill everybody here, or is it like going towards the government building? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, ballistic. I don't know why they would have. What is ballistic?
I don't know.
Anyways,
I don't know. Because if it said nuclear, I'd be like, oh, we're all going to die.
I think ballistic is another one of those anchor terms that only gets used right in front of the word missile, ballistic missile. Because I don't think I've ever said the word ballistic without the following word of missile.
Well, ballistic can refer to the study of projectiles in flight or a state of extreme anger and excitement.
So let me ask you: if the message had just said missile threat inbound to Hawaii and not ballistic missile threat, would you have felt less threatened? Because the word ballistic does sound like, man,
it's very specific.
This missile means business.
Well,
man.
I don't know, but again, if like it just the word would confuse me. I was like, is this text meant for me? Like, what are they trying to say? Like,
right.
it's targeting me?
I don't know. Yeah. Just me, or just go out to everybody? What I think is interesting, though, is Hawaii's EMA, Emergency Medical Association, I guess, management, or agency, Emergency Medical Management Agency, whatever. They sent out a tweet saying, no missile threat to Hawaii. That was their response. I would think you'd get back into the system that sent the original message and say, hey, that last message, please ignore. But now we'll just put out something on Twitter.
LOL, JK.
Yeah, JK, smiley face. Put the little upside down emoji, smiley face. My bad.
I like it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that is crazy, man. I think I would, I don't know what I would have done if I got that text. I would have looked at it and been like, well, Mark is spam, report sender.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, well, I don't know, man.
I thought you had an update. I was very excited about that. I was like, oh, they finally did find out what it really was.
No, it's just
because when they said, "Oh, it was an accident," I'm like, "Yeah, right."
I mean, it is interesting that all it is somebody can push a button to fire that off. But I mean, how else are you going to do it?
Ashley's a cheater, or whatever. Yeah. It's like, don't talk to this person. Those are always fun.
Oh, all right, man. Pretty good time to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a bad place to store your child. Now he drops it in, folks. Love it.
This isn't the intro?
Let's start the show now. We'll be right back, guys.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gull Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
And we're back with Audience of One, Part 2. The better part, because I get to do the intro. That's right. This is Dick, and I want to remind people that we're here every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on all your cool stuff. I do want to apologize for last week's show. If you were on the podcast part, it loaded the week before that show. That was on me. And I tell Andrew, I can't do everything by myself. And he doesn't care.
I know this is a talk show. I'm supposed to talk, but I'm just going to let you keep going here.
He told me off the air he wants to be the funny one. So I can't.
Mission accomplished.
I'm the one that needs to cause all the problems in people's lives.
You're the crazy uncle with the checkered past. That's your role on this show. Yes, it loaded the last week's show twice in a row. So if you have the auto download for your podcast, what you simply have to do is remove that download and refresh your app, and it will bring up a fresh new Audience of Onesie episode for your liking, for your enjoyment.
I didn't really like the first part of the show. I was really hoping something more fun would come from those stories, like the guy who stole all of his neighbor's stuff, and then he just paid for people's meals. I thought it was like he re-gifted them the gifts he stole, because that would be hilarious.
It sounds like a lot of it was cash, though.
But from different people.
Sure.
So imagine if
you can make up your own stories if you want.
Well, no, think about it. That'd be one of the funniest things. Like I go into your house, steal a vase,
and then wrap it up and give it to me.
And I give it to your neighbor. And so you go over to your neighbor's house.
You're like, wait a minute.
Wait. And then or you give the jewelry to another woman.
I think that's a good way of incriminating yourself, though. And I'm not sure how he got busted. I'm sure the article went on to say, but I think it was his guilty conscience doing it. But yeah, if you go over to your friend's house, your neighbor's house, and there's your missing stuff, like, where'd you get this? And he says, Jim gave it to me.
Well, you've seen that video, I think, of
got it at Costco.
I think it was the grandmother for Christmas. Everyone gave her something that they stole from her house.
No, was she having memory issues, so she didn't realize it? Or
well, she's like, what is this? And it's like, isn't this from? And then the next thing was like the rolling pin from her kitchen.
That's elder abuse, man. Because especially if she did notice it missing, thinking, man, I swear that rolling pin was in this drawer, and then she opens it up later. That's terrible.
No, did I tell you I did the same thing?
Same thing. What?
So I don't know if I told this on the show, but when I was going to the wedding for El Salvador, my friends kind of said, hey, you need to dress up. And I'm like, no, I don't do that. Like, I'll wear shorts. We're in El Salvador. Who cares? And so the wedding's outside. Like, no, you need to. So I was looking for my pants, like my slacks. But for some reason, I found all the jackets that go with the suits, but none of the pants.
Sans pantalones, are you?
And I'm sitting there going like, what did I do? Like, because I don't wear suits. I think
I don't think suit pants have the same magical properties as jeans, where they're able to magically clean themselves after 3 days of sitting there on the the chair. So they probably were nasty. You probably did who knows what.
I don't know. Well, I found a pair in storage with the radio station's equipment. And I'm sitting there.
Get in there.
I have no idea.
You probably thought at some point you were going to have to dress up for an event here at the station or something, and put it in there, and just forgot about it.
But it was really funny to me because I was going through our.
Hey, I'm glad you located your pants, buddy.
And I'm like, oh, these are the one of my pants.
Now, did you try them on? Did they still fit? I was like, yeah, man, yeah.
I wear the same clothes from high school.
Literally, these same clothes.
Yeah.
Dick, I had a family of lizards recently move into my garage area, and it's kind of interesting. I like lizards; they're kind of cool. They eat bugs supposedly, so I don't mind them being there.
But you don't chop off their tails?
No, man,
they grow back.
They'll grow back anyways. But it's kind of one of those
you're
things.
Supposed to do?
Not supposed to,
but that's what you're supposed to do.
Based on what?
Well, I grew up that way.
Oh, you're supposed to put. It's good for them. They like it.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that.
But it's one of those things where I'm
hilarious.
walking out to. I have a detached garage, and so when I go to my garage, the lizards will be right there by kind of at eye level, and they'll surprise me. But there's several of them now, and maybe this is like a conversation for when you're really high. But I'm looking at them going, "How do lizards walk on walls? How is that possible? I don't get it." So I looked it up. Do you know how lizards can walk on walls?
Is it suction based?
So no, it is not. It's the fact that lizards can walk across walls and ceilings with such ease is due to the fact that they have a lot of thin hairs that cause a molecular reaction with surfaces similar to the forces of a magnet. That doesn't make sense to me, man. You're to mean to tell me their hairy little palms is what gets them to stick to walls? No. And you would think it would be little suction cups. Nope. It says they can actually hold their weight of their entire body on the wall with one, quote, finger.
Way to go, lizards.
Oh, man. I just thought, I'm like, man, I don't know. I've never thought about that. How do lizards walk on walls?
Well, I like how that amazes you, but the fact that we just glossed over their tails will grow back.
Yeah. So their tails grow back. They can walk on walls. They're pretty magnificent creatures if you think
Yeah.
about it.
So now you have a shrine for them, or what's the ending to the story? Did you eradicate them,
No, I just
or
I'm staring at them thinking,
now they have a little cupboard and you can put food in for them, or what are you doing?
they got plenty of food out there. This is Houston area. There's tons of bugs to eat.
That's true.
You know,
That's one thing I love about people who have fly traps.
from Venus.
Because now the newer, I think like the last 2 or 3 years, the new fly trap is the one that has a light with a fan that sucks them down. Have you seen those? Like they're giant lanterns.
What the hell are you talking about? Not an actual plant, then.
No.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Venus flytrap plant, which is pretty cool, a meat-eating plant.
But I've seen people, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
People are, in
No,
general?
these fans.
Ah.
And I laughed. I saw one of my buddies had one that was probably about as big as like a bathroom trash can, or like kind of like the one right here.
What are you trying to trap a hog, a wild hog?
Like this big. And I go, you know how disgusting that is? If you think about not emptying it.
Yeah, 'cause-
and
right,
you have
exactly.
You have like 5
Thousands
pounds
of
of
just
flies.
Flies and stuff. Actually, I have gone by one of those bags like of water that attracts flies.
Yeah, those are great.
And it stunk to high
Well, yeah,
holy
they're
hell.
supposed to.
So I don't know if that was rotting flies or the liquid they put in there, but it smelled really bad.
I was living with a girl at one time, and she bought those,
Yeah, you
and
were.
she didn't tell me that she bought one of those. And I go out there, and I'm like, man, it stinks. Like, great. Like, something's going on with the sewer line. Great. And then she's like, oh, I put one of those bags out there. I was like, cool. Totally forgot about it until we moved out. And I was cleaning out everything, and I was like going around our backyard, and
Yeah.
I go, oh, she never picked this up. And it was
Kind of like the book, how the art of how to not give an F.
well, not even that. It was more like the Hot Pocket. So
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I was sitting there like, oh, that's gross.
Ah, the magical hot pocket that you left in your car.
I didn't
blue.
leave. I didn't leave it in my car.
It got there somehow.
It got there somehow, but it was resting right next to my backup tire, my spare tire.
Just waiting for the summer to heat up.
How many years?
Who knows, man?
No one knows.
Have you seen those pictures of like someone will buy a Big Mac and just let it sit out, and then they'll take a series of pictures of it like once every month, and then time lapse it for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and after 10 years, the burger virtually looks the same. It's gotten a little smaller, I guess, some evaporation of
Yeah.
moisture and whatnot. It looks like it's lost maybe 20% of its size, but it just sits there without mold or anything. Good God, that's what the
Yeah.
Hot Pocket reminds me of.
Yeah. Well, no, it didn't. The Hot Pocket wasn't a Hot Pocket. It was green and it's like it was liquid. I really wanted to open it.
Speaking of food, when is the last time you saw a lobster tank in a grocery store? Seems like when I was a kid, those were in every grocery store. I would see them.
Yeah.
I don't see them anymore. Is it just me? They don't have them, right?
I wonder if they're like in Brookshire Brothers.
Yeah, Berkshire's
Kinda.
is kind of in the more rural city, like smaller cities,
Yeah, I
right?
feel
We're gonna have to
like
make we're gonna have to make a trip out to Navarro or something. See if we can.
Well, I think they
Or
did,
Navasota.
well they probably
That's
did
what I
that
meant.
because of it lasts longer. Because of how rare it is to get lobster out in Brookshire Brothers. So like the only way to
Is it
keep them,
Berkshire or Brookshire?
I don't care, Brookshire.
Berkshire.
But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, why? Okay, so I think it's interesting that we only do this for lobster. I've never seen like you don't walk up to the grocery store and there's a cow out in the back,
There's a restaurant in Houston that does that.
but a cow in the back.
No, it's like if you want eel.
eel.
They have all these, like, everything you see, you can eat. And
But is it like all seafood though, right?
Yeah, and you pick it. You're like, oh,
I want that guy right there.
And they pick
He
it.
got crazy eye. I want him.
That place is disgusting.
Oh, I bet.
Because
What's the concept? Is it because that food is only good if it's super fresh?
Well,
is
that
the
restaurant,
point?
particular one, yeah. Like,
But
that
I'm talking
was,
about with lobster. I mean, because you don't do this with any other, like you don't go walk in. There's an aquarium of fish, and I want that one. Except for this restaurant you're describing, it's just lobster. So I don't understand why we did it to begin with. Again, does it go bad like almost instantly after you kill them, and you have to do it live? I mean, I don't know, man.
This is coming from a person who doesn't cook lobster, but I imagine it's a lot better if it's alive and when you boil it.
Yeah, you like to listen to them scream.
Well, they instantly die.
But again, I'm sure that can be said for most food, but we only did it for lobster, and I don't know why.
Maybe it's one of those myths. It's like, oh, it's so much better fresh because if you kill it and then throw it in, it like poops itself. I don't
I have no idea.
I don't know. People are really weird with their food, and I get it.
I don't understand lobster because it is quite delicious. One of my favorite foods. But if you think about it, they're cockroaches of the sea, man. They crawl on the bottom, they eat everybody's leftovers, but somehow that produces some nummy meat in them claws. I don't get it.
What is it? Is it baby calf meat?
That's called veal, right?
Yeah. Like, I always wondered who particularly likes that kind of food. And then I always wondered, like, who's the one that developed the job that, like, oh, we raise cows, but only until they're like 9 months, and then we just slaughter them.
I don't know.
I've seen people kill cows. I've seen it. It's pretty gnarly.
It's a pretty amazing brag there.
But like, I was like, I can't imagine doing this to like a new
Yeah,
calf.
something.
But then again, like, some people are monsters.
You ever thought about the fact that maybe we only eat animals because we can catch them? Like historically. And that's why we have our diet the way it is. Now we got modern. Now we have modern like technology and whatnot. Yeah, but dogs are friendly. But I feel
cows.
I feel like if cheetahs were slower back in the day, we probably would have been eating them. But we couldn't catch them, so we never ate it. But cows, they're slow as hell.
Well, also depends on where you're living. I bet people eat cheetah all the time.
If you can get one, man, they're fast.
Set up traps.
I guess.
Yeah.
I just think that our means for hunting dictated what we were going to eat, and it's just lasted throughout human society, civilization.
I guess.
You don't eat a lot of rabbit. They're quick, although people do.
A lot of people eat rabbit.
But it's not like it's hanging in the store.
That's why you have snares. So
but
you can catch
turkeys,
rabbit.
lots of turkeys. They're slow and stupid.
Yeah.
Chickens, slow AF. Got a lot of chicken in the store.
We don't eat peacock.
You can catch them. Yeah, but again, pretty. I think we have something going on in our brains where it's like the really cute, friendly animals, we keep them as pets. But if they're kind of ugly, it's dinner. It's
we don't eat koala bear.
They're too cute, man.
I wonder if they ever did in like Australia. That was like a thing.
I'm sure. Koala burger. They probably do. Aren't they endangered or something? And besides, they're too cute. They're too cute to eat.
No, they're devils, dude.
Dick,
I told you we had that on the show.
What?
Long time callback. You've watched koala bear fight? It sounds like the devil.
I think we did.
It sounds like little demons.
Yeah, no, we did. What? Yeah. They're.
But no, I never really questioned that because like when I remember when I went to that restaurant with all the live fish and the eels, I was just disgusted because I do not like the smell of fish. I'm a big smell person, so if it smells bad, I'm going to immediately convince myself
most people.
it tastes bad.
Sure.
Might not taste bad at all. Might be the most delicious thing, but I'm like, it just stinks, man. That weirded me out. I was like, this is so weird to me that's the one I'm eating, and within 2 minutes.
Yeah. There it is on your plate magically.
I tried it, and you know what? Octopus isn't really that good.
No, I'm not doing that. Sorry, they do have suction cups. Not doing that, and that's another thing that people eat virtually alive, still moving.
Yeah, I did.
Not going.
I did, and it was really funny. Like the idea of this thing in my stomach going.
Yeah, crawling back up out of your throat. Let me out of here.
Yeah.
Dick, I think we as a society, by the way, changing subjects abruptly, do not talk enough about how good clean sheets are on a bed. I swear, when I do laundry and I wash my sheets and put a fresh set of sheets on the bed, I sleep better. It's like the socks. There's nothing better than a new pair of socks. I think clean sheets rivals it. Okay. Would you agree?
Yeah, but I mean, I have a hard time sleeping on clean sheets because usually when I make my bed, my dogs immediately know they're clean sheets and they want to rub every part of their body all over everything.
That's right. You just let them root around in your bed, so maybe it doesn't matter.
You should see when I fold my laundry.
Gross, man. It's covered in hair.
right when I fold my laundry, I have my little piles.
She lays
If
on
I
it.
turn around, dog's on top and like lays on top and like looks at me like, "Oh, you're doing this. This
Yeah.
is great. This is great."
But I don't think this works in hotel rooms because usually I sleep like complete ass in hotel rooms. But in theory, those are clean sheets.
We don't drink enough.
Oh, I drink enough. But in theory, those are clean sheets. But it doesn't work the same in a hotel room. I don't know what it is. Something about your own bed with clean sheets.
I mean, I don't know, because every time I stayed in a hotel room growing up, it was nice because we could crank the AC up as much as we wanted.
Yeah, I know. That's the best. You can just let the water run. We use all the hot water, crank the AC all the way to 60 and let
Yeah.
it go. Yeah, man.
I always slept great. Yeah.
Do you remember the story years ago?
I don't know what your problem is. I always sleep
No,
great.
I don't. I don't usually sleep very well in hotels. You can sleep anywhere, though. We've established
Yeah.
this.
I slept in a hotel bathtub one time.
Yeah.
That was
I'm sure-
interesting.
I'm sure that was a whiskey-induced coma.
No, it wasn't actually. It was one of those things. I used to go on spring break with my dad. We would take the RV out and we go to cool places. And then one time something happened with the RV, so we had to go stay in a hotel room. And my dad snores worse than me. And I was like, I can't.
I'm going to go to the bathtub and sleep.
Like
Get a better night's
well,
sleep.
that was the only place I could like get the noise out. So I got all the sheets, just put it in the bathtub, and just curled up like a little baby, and just
Close the
covered
bathroom door?
closed myself.
I would think it would make like an echo effect in there, make it even worse.
No, it was it was an interesting scenario. It's like my dad came in to use the restroom, and I'm right there.
He's
and I'm
taking
like,
a leak. Hey,
I'm
what's
like,
up,
what's
Pops?
up, dude?
Get a little splashback.
He's like, what are you doing? I had the curtain drawn and everything. You know, it's one of the. I was like, yeah, that's how I slept because I can't stand your snoring.
Dick, have you ever been going down the highway and seen somebody like with a mattress strapped to the top of their car or something in
yeah.
the back of the truck, and they got somebody sitting on
Those
it
are
to
always
hold
my
it down?
favorite.
Yeah. Well, this is from actually 2017, but it came up in one of my social feeds. But a 28-year-old Fredonia, I don't even know where this is accused of taking her son on a very dangerous ride. Investigators say Amber Schmuck, SCHMUNK, had her child ride on top of her minivan to hold down a plastic pool. Could you imagine seeing a kid on top of a mini? I just love the fact that it's a minivan, too. It just makes it even better.
Yeah.
And, of course, now she's been charged with a felony.
Yeah, in high
Holy
school,
cow,
my
man.
buddy always thought it was funny to put a baby, what do you call it, like a cradle? One of those like cradles you carry your baby in. I always thought it was funny to put it on someone's
On
car.
the roof, yeah.
On like their buddy's car. I don't know how you didn't notice that, but
Well, the complainant says that Schmunk eventually pulled over and took her 9-year-old son. He's 9. He's practically all grown up. Took her 9-year-old son off the roof, folded the pool up, and put it inside the van. So it would have fit in there to begin with. I guess this was just for fun. And she then pulled into her sister's driveway. She believed it was okay as her father let her do things like that when she was her age. Well, then what's the big deal, everybody?
yeah, she's gotten here this far.
Well, she said she told police that there wasn't enough room inside the minivan for the pool she had originally picked up, but apparently that is not the case, Dick. It's not the case.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, man. Do you know who Larry Bird is, by the way, Dick?
The basketball player.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Were you aware that on February 14th, 1986, so right at 39 years ago, Larry Bird decided to play an entire game with his left hand?
Yeah, I've heard that story.
This,
prove a
again,
point.
came up in my social feed because it's now the anniversary of it on February 14th. That is insane. So the quote here is, tomorrow night's last game of the trip, I'm going to play this one left-handed. Well, at least through 3 quarters. Why? I'm saving my right hand for the Lakers. Dude, what do you think happened? He'd go out there and embarrassed himself? No, he scored 47 points left-handed.
Yeah.
And the game went into overtime, and he continued to play left-handed. You would think there at the end, when it's close, he'd kind of revert back. No, I'm just going to keep up with the bit.
Well, that's the
That
style.
is incredible. The next game, though, against the Lakers, when he was playing on the right hand, he only scored 22 points. So it kind of begs the question here, shouldn't he just play left-handed all the time?
Or both.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That is impressive. So you had heard of that. I had never heard this story.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how this...
There's some wild stories about Larry Bird.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Just how,
You have one?
Not, I mean, you just look up Larry Bird stories, and people will tell you all these random like trash talking, and like I think there's one story. I don't know who the specific player was. Was they back in the day, back in that NBA day, was they would pick on who they're guarding, and they guarded a white guy against them, and he got pissed at the other team because he went over to the other team. And
Oh, yeah.
like,
how dare you
how dare you put the white guy on me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently that's a real story.
Yeah, I had heard that one as well.
So
Felt a little slighted.
yeah.
What are you doing putting this guy on me with the tall socks? Put Jordan on me. It said during his 13-year career with the Celtics, Larry Bird played a game left-handed. How many times?
One time?
Just the once, baby. One and done. I'm 42 points. Really impressive. I think I would have tried it just one more time.
Yeah. I would just use my head.
Is this a fluke? Or?
I would have used my head.
Feet?
Like, yeah, you can't use your feet.
What?
You can't touch the ball with your feet.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew that. I played basketball, man.
Kind of like in hockey, you can't forward the puck with your foot.
Oh, that I did not know.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that you can catch the puck and then like immediately put it down. You can't throw it, but you can catch it with your hand and then put it back on the ice.
You can't. Well,
That's weird.
I think in hockey, I don't think you can score. 100%, you cannot score off your foot, but you can kick it. But it can't be like in a forward motion to, like you can't pass it with your foot. That's interesting. Did you watch any of that hockey, that Four Nation stuff?
I mean, just a little bit. We had it on someone's phone streaming the other night, but not really. I'm just not a big hockey guy. But I heard it was. I mean, it went into overtime. I think the United States lost to Canada 3-2 or something like that in overtime.
Yeah, it's funny to me that was an all-star game, basically.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because they didn't really advertise it like that.
I mean, most of those guys are playing in the NHL, and they're
I know,
gonna be
but
the best, so
that
makes
was the
sense.
NHL's all-star game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Maybe I missed that.
That's what I'm saying. I was sitting there like all these people were talking because I knew that going in because they made this announcement a while back.
Oh, rather than their all-star game like they normally do,
Yeah,
that was
they're
their
doing
all-star.
that.
Yeah. No, I knew that. Yeah.
But it's like, but when you watch it, you have no idea.
Well, because I don't know a lot about hockey.
So I like that. They should do that for basketball and football. Like no one really knows. It's like random. It's like
This is an interesting story, Dick. I'll be a little careful with it. I don't think we'll offend anybody. But in Fort Worth, Texas, the great city of Fort Worth, where I resided for many, many years, back in November, the Fort Worth Police Department removed photographs at the Modern Art Museum of Fort Worth from an exhibition by artist Sally Mann in what the ACLU is calling a violation of the First Amendment. What is so wrong about this exhibit? Well, they began hosting an exhibition back in November called Diaries from Home, featuring works that, quote, explore the multi-layered concepts of family, community, and home. Okay, so far, no red flags here. Included in the collection were photos from Sally Mann's 1990 collection called Immediate Family. I'm like, what's going on here? Well, of the 65 photos in Mann's Immediate Family collection, 13 of them showed her children in the nude.
okay.
What are we doing here? The selection of nude photos displayed in the Modern reportedly included depictions of Mann's daughter jumping onto a picnic table in a ballet pose, I guess completely nude. Mann's daughter lying in bed with a stain from a nighttime accident. Doesn't say what type of stain, but I think we can probably deduce what happened there. And Mann's son with a melted popsicle running down his body. Very awkward. And this stuff's been floating around out there since the 90s.
Yeah.
But what I find really interesting about this is the cops came in to seize this stuff. If it's been around since the 90s and it's been to multiple Museum of Arts and things, couldn't you just ask them to remove it? Why do we have to get the cops involved? I guess because it is...
No knock warrant.
Right?
We're coming in.
Dude, that is really odd, man.
Well, it makes you think that, like, especially what you think art is, but also what's appropriate for the standard patron. Because, like, I remember going to the Houston Holocaust Museum, and they did this really creative way of showing photographs that were horrendous, right? But they had it. What they did was on a shelf tilted towards the ceiling. So in their mind, they don't like the only way to see is you have to be tall enough to look over the shelf unit and look down. So the taller you were, the more graphic images you could see.
It's kind of like the magazines at the
Yeah.
7-Eleven. They always put the good stuff up at the
of
top.
course, we're us being there as a family. My brother picks me up, and he's like,
put me on your shoulders.
he's like, "You want to see this?" And I was like, "Yeah."
So in theory, you were seeing better stuff than him because you even had a higher bird's eye view.
But yeah, I don't really know about this kind of stuff. I think that would shock me if I saw those photographs.
I just don't get it.
But then again, it's kind of one of those things where, like, at one point we totally, because like 40 years ago, someone was taking pictures of you as a kid, and most of the time, like, if you grew up in a big family, you're taking baths with your brothers or sisters, and you're like 1 years old.
But you don't put it on display at a museum.
Yeah, but these are artists, photographers. They're gonna do some weird stuff. So,
I guess.
it's like one of those things.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting. In the police have seized all of the art until the end of the exhibit, which I think is this month. And I guess they give it right back to them. Here you go, and they'll just take it on to the next museum.
Yeah, they'll go where it's really appropriate for child pornography.
Yeah, exactly. Which is where?
I don't
I don't know.
I don't know. Seattle.
There you go.
I feel like anything goes over there. But no, I think it's kind of funny. But especially as our society changes, it is what it is. So I don't think I want to go like, oh, I'm getting inspired to go see, Immediate Family. It's one of my favorite exhibits.
Right, and that's another thing. When you walk out of there, if you
Wasn't
say
that the whole joke
if you
with-
really liked it, they're going to side-eye look at you like, really? Oh, it's just beautiful art, man.
Wasn't that the weird
hell?
conspiracy theory with the body exhibit?
I have seen the body exhibit. Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't that the conspiracy theory? It's from China and they're all prisoners. They're all prisoners, and
I don't know if they were prisoners, but I will say they are small people. The bodies were very, like, a lot of times they were 5 foot and under.
Well, no, someone discovered that it happened to be
Possibly.
like political prisoners or something.
Possibly.
And that changed the whole aspect of that show.
Yeah, I bet.
And you're like, thank you for your sacrifice.
They could use that as a deterrent for crime, though.
Yeah.
You might end up in the body exhibit. Think twice before you speed.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true. It's
Thailand.
probably fake news, but I was just like, that would just blow my mind.
The body exhibit was quite wild.
Yeah. It was kind of weird.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Yes, the entire.
It was kinda
It
weird.
was not my idea to go. Believe me, I didn't wake up one day and go, "Honey, let's go to the body exhibit." I was with a group of people and they decided to go. And I
Yeah.
was just drug along for the ride, I guess.
Then again, I could say I saw that. So I'm like, oh, look, I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm talking about it now on the radio.
But they're all innocent people being murdered.
They had a body that was completely sliced.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe 20 times. You can see the profile sliced all the way up from the head to the toe.
Like, you got to be a little psychopath to put that
wicked,
together,
man.
don't you?
Yeah, it's a little wicked.
Yeah.
Looks like something out of Dexter.
Yeah. A little bit. You got to have a little psycho in here to get that idea of like, oh, we got this great exhibit idea. What's that? We're going to preserve human bodies. And then we're going to show the different stages of our skin and
That's right, man.
muscle and bone. You're like, for who's this for again?
And you saw it all. Trust me,
Yeah.
you saw it all.
Like even their pee-pee.
Including the pee-pee, as you say.
Including the pee-pee.
Yes. Kind of like the Icelandic phallological museum that we
At
talked
least you
about.
know what you're getting going into that.
I mean, you kind of know what you're getting into with something called the body,
There's no
dude.
one on a toilet, though.
ironically.
Yeah, I was wondering why that was.
It's part of the body.
Yeah,
know.
who knows?
All right, man, you want me to do the quick hit here at the end of the show?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Cut this episode just a little short because we've got things to do, people to see. Dick, do you know who Albert James Allen Freed is?
No. I don't.
He was an American disc jockey.
Okay.
He also produced and promoted large traveling concerts with various acts, helping to spread the importance of music throughout North America, and he popularized the term rock and roll.
Oh, wonderful.
That's right.
Good
In
for you.
1986, Freed was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. His role in breaking down racial barriers in U.S. pop culture by the 1950s, by leading whites and blacks to listen to the same music. Oh, cats and dogs will be mating now, too. Put the radio personality at the vanguard and made him a really important figure. That's a quote. It made him a really important figure, according to the executive director. I don't know what executive director. But anyways, Alan Freed, you are our onesie of the week, created the term rock and roll. It's got to come from somewhere.
Well, he has a scandal. You didn't even talk about the scandal?
Well, yes. He had a pretty interesting life in that I think he died in his 40s from alcoholism. He was charged and had to like move across the country, I believe, to another radio station because he had gotten into some trouble. He's an interesting guy, but how much? This is called a quick hit, if you want to talk about it.
Well, he has a payola.
Yes, there was a Plugola Payola scandal that
like
hit last his job. And if you're not aware of what that is, it's when someone pays you under the table and you talk about their products and services on the air without going through the legal channels. So he got in trouble for that. That was amongst one thing. Many things, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean,
but we would never do such things. No. We don't do that. First of all, people have to give us money. Donate and sponsor today, audience of one show.
Yeah. That'd be great. That's always wondered. That's why Elon Musk does what he does. Because, like, no one really likes Twitter, but people like X or vice versa. So I was like, He's just doing it to promote X. That's all he's doing.
He don't care. Elon don't care. He's all about efficiencies now, and so he just shortened it to one letter. See, it's efficient.
You know what's funny? I had this, they were talking about, they send this email out to, like, what did you accomplish? If I got that email, I'd be like, I only used the bathroom 3 times on the company dime.
That's efficiency, baby. That's efficiency.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I'm glad we got this show in.
Didn't use any toilet paper either.
Oh. All right, buddy. It's all the time we got for this week. I'm glad we were able to get it in. Got it in a little early because I will be out of town. Maybe I'll have some travel observations for next week. Who knows?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in, Onesies. We'll be here next week. And, send us your fun articles to audienceofOneShow@gmail.com. And also send us what'd you accomplish last week? I need to know.
We dropped in that song, the crime song last week at the end of the show. At my request, thank you for doing so. I thought it was like 2.5 minutes long. Apparently it was 4.5, and it just kept going and going. And right as you think it's going to end, it'll do like some piano interlude and then kick right back up to rock and roll. It just went on and on and on. It's awesome. I got some feedback on it. Apparently it is a banger.
We'll see you guys later.
Late.